more. So thank you guys for jumping back on with me. Okay, so I'm going to kind of, get started on this. I won't go back through how I just had to kill a spider. I like my webcam on my computer better than I like the webcam on my tablet. So I have to say, not happy about that. All right, so today's topic, what I want you to do is go ahead and close your eyes. And once again, hopefully you weren't already deep into that before, but close your eyes and I want you to think of a goal that you want to achieve in the next 1 to 5 years. Think of what that goal is. Hopefully you already have several goals in mind, but let's focus on one for today. And so when you achieve that goal, first of all, how will you know when you've achieved that goal? Is it a goal that is easily you can certainly tell I've achieved it, or is it one of these big overall search that overreaching, I want to be successful? Well, what does that mean? I need you to break that down. So what will your day look like when you've achieved that goal? Kind of think of what that day looks like. And how will things be different in your life than they are now? What will you do more of? What will you do less of when you achieve that goal? Does that goal include maybe, I don't know, does it include a new house? Or maybe a new car? Hopefully not a new spouse, but it rhymes with house, so I don't know about that. Does it include maybe a new job or a new career? Maybe a totally different career than what you do now. Hi, Miss Rosie. Does it include a new circle of people that you surround yourself with? So think about what that goal looks like, and you want to achieve it in the next 1 to 5 years. And now I want you to think, if there was a shortcut to reach that goal, now be honest with yourself, if there was a shortcut to reach that goal, would you take it? So today we're talking about shortcuts. And, we live very much in a culture of immediate gratification where people are always looking for some kind of shortcut. I'm going to adjust for a second here. Sorry. People are always looking for some kind of a shortcut to the things that they want, whether it's fitness related, whether it's, family related, whatever. A lot of times people are looking. Ooh, that was my phone. Let's look. It's a Samsung. It's fine. People are always looking for shortcuts. So I'll just kind of tell you you guys kind of, if you watch my story a couple days ago, you saw I tried to do a shortcut because I was making, they were delicious too. I was making jalapeno popper stuffed zucchini boats. Yeah, there was chicken in it. So there's meat because I need that. But I decided, for some reason, hey, let me not put on gloves when I chop the jalapenos, because I was just in a rush trying to hurry up, get stuff in the oven. And I knew better because I've had this experience years ago, but I didn't do better. So by the time I was done cooking, by the time I put the zucchini boats in the oven, my fingers were on fire. My fingertips were literally on fire. I told Jordan, I said, it feels like what happened when my airbag went off in my car accident, and it's like the chemical burn. And so I was like, I think they put jalapenos in airbags. And of course, she looked at me and she was like, oh my God, Mom, because she's a teenage girl. So that's what teenage girls do. But when I look back at that, here's the thing. How long would it have taken me to put on gloves? 5 seconds, maybe, max. But I tried to take a shortcut, I'm just going to chop these jalapenos because I'm in a rush. And what ended up happening is it took me probably 30 to 45 minutes to figure out how to get my fingertips to stop burning. And I don't mean like 30 to 45 minutes in one span. I mean across time. So first I was washing with water and soap and cold water, because of course that felt a little bit better on the fingertips. Water and soap, water and soap. I tried pouring vinegar on my hands. Didn't work. So what do you do when you don't know how to fix things? Well, first I will say, First I messaged my friend who is a chef, and he didn't message back. So of course, naturally, I Googled it. And Google tells me, first of all, there's a term for this, jalapeno hands. You have jalapeno hands. So how to fix jalapeno hands? What they said is to wash it under the hottest water you can stand and scrub it. So this was extremely painful, by the way. So, I mean, it's like adding on, I was scrubbing with like a nail brush with hot water on top of my fingers that felt like they were already on fire. So it was rough, but I tried to take a shortcut. And in the long run, what it ended up doing was causing more trouble and taking longer to get to what I was trying to get to. So in this culture of immediate gratification that we very much live in, we, a lot of times, and I say we because I'm not perfect. I do sometimes look for shortcuts. So I include myself in all of this. And if you're honest with yourself, sometimes you look for shortcuts too. So we look for shortcuts and things to try to get through things quicker. So some of the ways that we look for shortcuts, or some of the ways that we think that we're taking shortcuts. And I really want you to let these sink in. And if you know, hey, here's the thing. If you happen to, like, when I say this, you're like, ooh, that hurt. That was kind of a stab. Feel free to type that in, right? So ways that we often are looking for shortcuts or taking shortcuts. Settling for how things already are. Settling for how things already are. I often refer to this, if you've been on some of my Woke Wednesdays, as living on the conveyor belt of life. Because settling for how things are, the alternative is putting in work. Leaving everything to chance. That I hope. I think it was, I want to say that was Steve Harvey on Kings of Comedy that was doing the difference between I hope that things go well and I wish them would, right? So I hope things turn out well. Because again, the alternative is putting in work. Following what everyone else does. This is another topic I'm going to cover on, I think, maybe next week. But following what everyone else does. Again, the alternative is work. You have to, if you're not following everybody else's path, if you think about it, you know, if you're out on a path that everybody else has already kind of created for you, that doesn't involve work. But if you want to go find something new, that takes work. You have to create your own path. Ignoring or avoiding situations, which not only takes work, but it takes a lot of discomfort on the flip side. The opposite of ignoring and avoiding means you're not only going to be uncomfortable for a bit, but also you have to put in work. Trying to find the easy way out. So I'm sorry, I'm going to have to read on these ones because I looked at some quotes today on what people have said about shortcuts before. So this is from Lennox Lewis. I've found that taking shortcuts will get you to the place you don't want to be much quicker than they get you to the places that you want to be. So let that sink in a little bit as you go through this call. Shortcuts will often take you to the place much quicker to the places that you don't want to be than the places you do want to be. And think about this as well. If you've ever tried to take a shortcut when you're driving somewhere, has that ever backfired on you? Because I know it has on me. I'm like, oh, I'm going to cut through here and cut through here. And next thing you know, there's road construction and maybe a pothole. And now I pop my tire or something. Who knows, right? And in Colorado, look, potholes can pop your tire because they're like sinkholes. So those are some of the very common shortcuts that people often just settle. Like I know I said, you know, settling for what's already there is a shortcut, but we often, this is, if you think about it, a lot of our lives, let's be real, a lot of our lives is a shortcut. So other shortcuts. So a lot of times we look for shortcuts to money. And sometimes that causes people to get into like the get rich quick schemes. And, you know, some of those turn out to be kind of dangerous in the sense that they might be illegal. And I mean, we look at, you know, the big Ponzi schemes. Yeah, they took a shortcut and they got all this money and they were living high for a while and then ended up, you know, in prison and killing themselves and all sorts of I'm thinking of Bernie Madoff, those kinds of situations. Sometimes we look for shortcuts in money by doing that whole thing where we pretty much count on the lottery. Like, in other words, if I'm ever going to make it, it's going to be because of the lottery. Why not put in work and figure out a different way, right? We sometimes take shortcuts in relationships. And I'll start with the one that my daughter suggested because, believe it or not, yes, the conversations. Hi, Eric. The conversations that I have with I have conversations with my daughter about what I'm going to talk about on here first. Because again, if you remember my Woke Wednesday from, was it last week or 2 weeks ago, where the average family spends less than 15 minutes in meaningful conversation. So this gives us really great meaningful conversation. So she gave the example of sometimes, and so this could be with parents, this could be with friendships, this could be in intimate relationships, whatever. But sometimes we lie to avoid an argument. And then the lie actually ends up creating a bigger problem. It creates that snowball effect, right? So we thought we were taking a shortcut by lying and it backfired on us. Leaving when things get hard. And you can't usually do this as a parent, although some parents do. But leaving when things get hard, whether that's with a friendship or an intimate relationship, it's like this idea that, okay, well, things are hard here. I really don't feel like working it out. So I'm going to go find someone new, and that new person's going to be easy somehow, right? And I remember talking to an older gentleman who was kind of a mentor, and this was probably like 15 years ago, and we were talking about this culture of divorce. I mean, in our nation, we have a divorce rate of over 50%, right? And I was talking to him about it because him and his wife had been married for, I want to say, going on 20 years at that point, maybe longer. And he said, you know, the thing is people, hi, Jeff. The thing is that people, hi, Leslie. So people oftentimes in relationships, they think the grass is going to be greener on the other side. What they're not realizing is there's going to be problems. There's going to be challenges. There's going to be things you don't like about every single person. There's not anybody that's going to out there that's going to be perfect. So if you keep leaving every relationship looking for that next one that's going to be perfect, that's not a shortcut to, you know, to this ultimate relationship that maybe you're looking for. Again, on the flip side, you'd have to put in work. Happiness. We often look for shortcuts to happiness. So a lot of times when people are looking for happiness, it's really a deep thing, but they might go buy a bunch of materialistic things. So if you've ever done this in your head, well, when I get a new car, I'll be happy. Well, when I get this new house, I'll be happy. Well, when I get this, and it's a materialistic thing, and we think that that will make us happy. Another way people look for a shortcut in happiness is by putting other people down, whether they do it publicly or not in their head, when they put other people down in order to lift themselves up. And I'm, you know, to some extent, I've done this. I've watched some of those TV shows back when I used to watch TV. I've watched some of those, like, what they call reality TV shows where, you know, it's a hot mess. And I just go, ooh, so glad I'm not in that situation. I'm doing okay, right? And so sometimes we look for our shortcuts in happiness because, again, with happiness, the bigger thing is if I really want to find happiness and without taking the shortcut, that means, oh, that was almost a bad one. That means that I have to look inside of myself. We are each responsible for our own happiness, right? So that means I have to look at myself. Why am I not happy now? I might have to look at myself and go, what mistakes have I made? What do I want to fix about myself? And that is not easy. Look, I've been doing it for years. It is not easy. I will tell you what. But that's the only other option besides shortcuts is putting in the work. Sometimes people are looking for a shortcut to success, right? And success means different things to everybody. So sometimes, and I'll just read another quote, a couple other quotes to you. Let's see. So Anika Sorenstam says, there are no shortcuts to success. I agree with her on that. But on the flip side, then Bo Sanchez says getting a mentor is the shortcut to success. So I also agree with him. So while there's no shortcut to success, and I'll get to how I agree with Bo, but a little bit later it's gonna all come together. But here's the thing. When you get a mentor, it's not like, I've got a mentor, I'm instantly successful. No, people they say that getting a mentor is a shortcut to success because that mentor is going to push you harder than you will push yourself. That mentor is going to push you out of your comfort zone further than you will push yourself. So it's not a shortcut in the sense of, oh, okay, instantaneous success. It's a different type, right? But you can find success that way. Some people, they really do think that, if they just get in with the right people and they can get a job, and sometimes that works. I work at a workforce center. I teach people. Networking is the #1 way of finding work. They say your network is your net worth. So in other words, the people you are surrounded with and you choose to surround yourself with is going to reflect what your net worth is. And I agree with those things. But what I disagree with is that when people have the shortcut mentality of, okay, so I'm just going to find someone, get my way into my job, and I'm just going to coast. I'm not going to learn anything about it. I'm not going to pour myself into it. I'm not going to put in that work, right? So I agree, but I disagree because you have to put in that work. So with the whole thing with shortcuts, when I first envisioned this Woke Wednesday, I have a whole notebook of things to talk about on Woke Wednesdays. You guys would not believe how much work I put into them. It's like when I first started, I was just like, I'm just going to talk off the top of my head. Now I'm outlining and looking things up online and all of this kind of stuff. So I take this seriously. See, I'm not taking a shortcut on this. But I look at it and I said, the shortcut is truly, this is what I wrote, the shortcut is actually putting in the work. And again, that goes back to that first quote that I read, that taking shortcuts will get you much quicker to the places that you don't want to be than the places that you do want to be. So a few other quotes, just because I found so many, but these ones really stuck out to me. So let's see. When the reward is the activity itself, deepening learning, delighting customers, I don't know what this person's background is, doing one's best, there are no shortcuts. I think that we happen to lose the value when we're looking for shortcuts. We lose the value of the lesson. Every time we work through things, every time we put in the work, there are lessons that come with that. If you looked on my posts yesterday or the day before, I think it was Monday. I don't even know what days it is anymore. It is Wednesday though, right? So when if you don't pay attention to the patterns in your life, you're losing out on an important lesson. And I happen to believe in my mind that if you keep skipping that lesson, if you keep missing that lesson, it's going to keep getting given to you, right? It's going to keep coming back at you if you don't learn that lesson. Another one, I had to throw this in there because I know it's I don't know what's going on with football season because I don't keep up. I don't like football, but there are no shortcuts to building a team each season. You build a foundation brick by brick. This is by Bill Belichick. So, he's had I think he is the most successful NFL coach out there. And what he's saying is every season you have to start building that foundation brick by brick. We talked about the foundation. I don't even remember which week. Again, that might have been last week that we talked about you have to have that solid foundation. And so he recognizes this, and look at the success that he's found by understanding that there are no shortcuts. You have to build the foundation brick by brick. And look, he lost his biggest star player, so he really has to start brick by brick this year. It makes me want to break into a Whitney Houston song, if you guys don't know the song. So then the last one, and I had to throw this one in here because it's by Michael Jordan. So if you do the work, you get rewarded. There are no shortcuts in life. So really, I just wanted to share with you guys that the shortcut the shortcut to whatever you're looking for, whether that's the shortcut to money, whether that's the shortcut to success, the shortcut to happiness, the only shortcut out there is actually putting in the work. Because if you get into something that looks like a shortcut, it's going to set you back, just like my jalapeno hands, right? All right. Thank you guys for jumping on today. I hope everybody has a blessed rest of your week. And I will see you next week for Woke Wednesday. Always, type in. Feedback is always appreciated. Thank you guys. Bye.